Hello, my name is Alex Brookstein, senior biology student, and so this is a presentation on competitive running, or looking at the different competitions that use running. The inferences that are made are based on the graphs that will be interpreted, and I'm here to help with that. First, we look at Figure 1. This is a figure that includes competitions that use running and swimming. Swimming is relevant because it also utilizes all the leg muscles and can be thought of as running underwater. On the y-axis, we see performance measured in either meters or seconds, and on the x-axis, we see time in years. In part A, we see the spread of time to complete the individual hurdles. These are values that are taken from the Olympic Games. They are recorded as the games take place, and that's why they appear to be in bundles and why there are so many values. Over the years, we can see that hurdles take less time to complete. Over here on part B, we see an increase in the distance of long jump that athletes successfully execute. As we can see, there are a plateau about every 20 years. Similarly, in part C, we see that swimming runs are being completed much faster every year and takes less time as measured in seconds to finish a race. The same for freestyle swimming. Notice that we approach an asymptote and that improvement is not as pronounced. This is beginning to indicate the boundaries of what is physically possible, as we might have expected. And since speed increases, it takes less time to complete with each race. And now that we can see how each competitive running sport is done by the best athletic time, we can appreciate the accomplishment of these values when we look at the results of many competitors in a single event. This is a distribution of times in a triathlon competition, which includes swimming, biking, and running. This is a nice transition from the previous figure. This is a histogram, which is a graphical display of data using bars of different heights. On the x-axis, we see time as measured in seconds, and on the y-axis, we see the number of runners that fit a specific time in a bracket. This is the half Iron Marathon. If I can draw your attention to look at the highlighted segment, we can know the context of this particular runner. Her name is Blake Stevens, and she ran with an injured Achilles tendon and walked the majority of the run. Overall, she finished in 1 hour, 93 in this time. This figure shows that the demand of the triathlon are very heavy. However, given the fact that the particular runner was injured and still able to finish the run demonstrates that this is a rather slow race. Further, the runner was not prevented from competing due to her injury. Since the vast majority of people entering this race did not finish in the top 10 positions, this figure shows that running the race for its own accomplishment is very important. Finally, we have Figure 3. The y-axis is a breakdown of the different sports, and the x-axis shows the number of injuries that occurred in 1991 and 1998. As we can see, this graph indicates that injuries are on the rise. This might be because more people are competing. If we look at the positioning, we can see that running produces the most amount of injuries among the choices of sports. As the previous slide suggested, this might be because people can still compete given an injury. Notice that gymnastics has fewer injuries, including superior labrum, anterior-posterior lesions in the shoulder, like Dr. Kane mentioned, elbow dislocation, and wrist sprains. When the athletes have these injuries, they are taken to the side and recommended to not play or strain themselves until they heal. That's why there are so few of these injuries. Whereas if we look at a basketball, the most common injuries are ankle sprains, jammed fingers, and knee injuries, and since these are highly televised, monetized, and frequently watched by fans, there is the incentive to return back to the game and play despite the injury, and thus more repeat injuries happen. In conclusion, as the sliders have shown, running is becoming more demanding. Figure 1 has shown that runners are being required to run longer distances in less amount of time. Also, Figure 2 and 3 have shown that depending on the sport, injuries don't necessarily stop the athlete from competing. So what? We should take more time to address injuries. If we examine injuries in a less rushed fashion, athletes can heal normally. As a result, there will be fewer complications and repeat injuries. That is not to say that injuries will decrease, but if we improve the way we deal with sports injuries, there could be more people on teams as a result, and even stand-ins for the athletes could take care of the athletic sport responsibilities, and then sports will be more efficient, health conscious, and safe. Thank you.